Good morning, everyone. Turning your Bibles to Mark chapter 1, and also put a finger in 1 John chapter 4. Mark chapter 1 and 1 John chapter 4. So we're going to be talking about our slogan that we say each week, developing disciples who live and love like Jesus. So what does that love look like in action? And we're going to see an example with Jesus. So keep in mind, let's get into it. Okay, Mark chapter 1, starting at verse 40. It says, "Now a leper came to him, imploring him, kneeling down to him and saying to him, 'If you are willing, you can make me clean.' Then Jesus, moved with compassion, stretched out his hand and touched him and said, 'I am willing, be cleansed.' As soon as he had spoken, immediately the leprosy left him and he was cleansed." Now, going back to verse 41, here we have a leper coming to Jesus. You know, we know about lepers back then. They were outcasts. They were set in the camp. Flesh was rotting away, white, rotting away. And that has to be depressing that you are sitting or amongst a camp of people with all of you are sick. Looking at each other's flesh rot away, you know. So we have this leper who runs up to Jesus. You notice Jesus didn't move. He didn't consider him an outcast. In verse 41, it says, Jesus moved with compassion. The tense of this verse means that he was gripped with compassion. It was coming from his bowels. He was moved and gripped, overwhelmed with compassion for this leper. This is God's love. Then he said, stretched out his hand, touched him, and said to him, "I am willing, be cleansed." Here we see the power of Jesus, the power. See, the love, God's love and his power are inseparable. They always go together. So, Kenny, why do you say that? What does that have to do with you and I as believers? We are to demonstrate this amongst the world, amongst our neighbors. We have to love people, a sacrificial love, an agape love. See, we have people who we don't like. You know, there's people who get on our nerves, rub us the wrong way. Enemies, but we are commanded to love them. It might not be tangible, but we should sincerely pray for people who we don't like. Just anybody, you know, we just have compassion. But that verse, the tense said he was gripped with compassion. So what does that look like? Turn to 1 John chapter 4, verse 20. 1 John chapter 4, verse 20, and it reads, "If someone says, 'I love God,' and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he who does not love his brother whom he has seen, how can he love God whom he has not seen? And this commandment we have from him, that he who loves God must love his brother also." These are strong words. It says must love your neighbor. So how do we get there? I think the first step is obedience. The more we obey God's commands, God said that I will show myself to you. I will manifest myself to you. The more you obey him, you start developing God's desires. And one of his desires is that we reach people through love. So like I say, love and God's power goes together. That's the power of the gospel. We love people. We show them Jesus. We witness to them. And that's the power of the gospel. So that's why they are inseparable. God's love and God's power are inseparable, the gospel. So that's our mandate. So that's what it looks like to have disciples who live and love like Jesus. Okay, thank you.